Okay, here we are again. You thought it was 4:30 an entire hour ago? That's what happens when you don't eat breakfast. I usually find that not eating breakfast kind of throws off my game for most of the day, so I can understand. Hello, Marie. How you doing? Welcome. Just taking care of the options again before we get started here. There we go. All right. Now we just wait 2.5 minutes and we'll go from there. Hey, Conker, it's going good. How's it going for you there? Happy birthday, by the way. I believe I saw that in the venting chamber. I skimmed over the little vent that you had in there. I apologize for the fact that your birthday is being messed up, but hopefully it goes better from here. You got about half the day left over there on the West Coast, so hopefully it goes better from here for you. Kind of got up, did a few things, and started your day at around 12:30. Nah, that's fine. I mean, you know, usually, I mean, my day starts, quote unquote, usually about 8 o'clock, 8:30, but doesn't mean I actually go do anything until about 12 o'clock anyway. Typically before that, I'm just eating breakfast, sitting on my phone, playing video games, doing that sort of thing. At least until I go back to work anyway. Excuse me. Then my day really will start at 8 o'clock again. Don't miss that, but I'm sure it'll be back. Oh boy. Alright, I'm going to turn this up because the sound balance is bad in this game, so... You've washed clothes, done the dishes, got a package, about to hang 2 posters, got to clean, got to do stuff for 2 personal projects, need to mail something. What else needs to be done? Yeah, that sounds like my list of things to do on a few days. Maybe not as many like usually with my days when I'm at home, it's usually more of a I have to do the same thing several times during the day, and it's like almost in 2-hour intervals. I have to stop what I'm doing and go do something. And, you know, that takes half an hour, then I get another hour and a half, maybe, at the most, to myself. So, stop what I'm doing, go do something else, so. And that depends, you know. Sometimes it's more frequent than that, but, yeah, it just depends on the time of day and what I've got going on, so. This has been your life for the last 8 or 9 months. Who likes perpetual burnout? Yeah, it's a war of attrition against getting burned out. I get that. I do. Calmed down some, at the very least, and got food about 20 minutes. Okay, well, that at least is a good start. You know, that'll get you moving on the upward trend again. So hopefully it stays that way. It keeps you moving on an upward trend by the end of the thing. So by the end of the day. Hey, Nitro, how's it going? Anyone else notice how Mono sounds kind of dead inside in the YouTube video uploaded to tell us he's live on Twitch? Well, you know what game we're playing, so you know why that is. No, I recorded that video at, I think about 9 o'clock in the morning, actually. So that's probably part of it. It's probably because I had just recently woken up and I said, well, it's quiet right now in the house. I'm going to go record this and get it done. But yeah, I mean, again, it could be inadvertently symbolic of the game that we're playing and the fact that I'm not always happy to come to play this game. I'm happy that it's done today, but, you know. Or, Tristan, you lost that war a while ago. You've been burning yourself down to cinders for almost a year. We'll all become hollow soon enough then, I'm sure, if we burn ourselves down to cinders. And then the lords will carry us to their thrones to use to link the fire. Okay, let's get started. And see where it dumps us off as it fucks up the widescreen again. Alright, Marie, take it easy. Go get something to eat. We'll see you in a little bit. Okay, it's just going to dump me off right here with this gentleman laughing at me, which is fine. Now,
Theodore made it sound like this place is uninhabited.
Now what fun would that be? Come on, we've got to take them out.
Okay, well, we'll worry about taking them out in a second. First, I got to fix this, and I'll say this to try to give the game some credit in certain cases, I do actually sort of like the fact that there is a... they have one area for every element that Spyro can use, right? So they had the munitions forge for the fire element, they have concurrent skies here for the electric element, they have Dante's freezer for the ice element, and then they have tall plains for the earth element. You get the breaths a little out of order. It's not as like necessarily symbolic because you don't get them in the areas where you you don't get the breath powers in the area where you would think you would get it. Like you don't get the ice one in the ice area, you don't get the earth one in the earth area, that sort of thing. But at the very least, they've ticked that box for me where it says, yeah, you know, you have at least all of the elements represented. So I'm trying to find good things before we get to the end here. How you doing, everybody? Welcome to the finale of The Legend of Spyro: A New Beginning, the stream edition. Excuse me again. Last time we found the rest of the Elder Dragons in the Munitions Forge and in Tall Plains, but then Cinder attacked, and Terrador told us it was probably for the best that we don't go after Ignitus until we got our Earth Breath training. And so we got our Earth Breath training, and now we're here in Concurrent Skies. I apologize for the lightning. Again, if you have photosensitivity, this place is not going to be your friend. Because the lightning occasionally just flashes on the screen all of a sudden, so that's just not going to be good for anybody involved. Before we move along here today, let's use our infinite experience pool, near infinite experience pool, to level up our Earth Bomb to level 2, because it will be incredibly useful throughout the area to keep the enemies at bay. And there you go. So I think I will upgrade Fire Blast to level 2 now, just because the Fire Breath, because I don't think we're going to really be using it all that much after this, just to see if my EXP bar will move here at all. So, okay, I finally got it to move. There you go. So everything is fully upgraded, and we're on the second to last level. We're not even in the final level, but everything is fully upgraded. Again, you can put experience into stuff after this, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't upgrade the power at all. It's just an EXP dump. So, let's see here. Your house sounds like a fucking war zone sometimes. Very rarely is it quiet. I mean, I get that, yeah. It depends on how many people live in your house, so, you know. Say sometimes, but it's like so much more than sometimes. Yeah, like I said, it just depends on how many people live in your house and how vocal they are and, you know, what they watch or they do in the background, so. Yeah, it turned widescreen off by itself. I don't know why. I had the settings set to turn the widescreen on at all times. Like, I even set it to have widescreen on when when we first did the options for the game on the first stream. I set it to have the widescreen on. I don't know why it turns it off every time you load the game, but it's just another thing that this game does, I guess. Will you rise from the ashes after you've burned out completely? I don't know. Still need to change your name. Bureaucracy is literally the worst thing humanity's created. I mean, kinda, yeah. I get that. Had to put that on hold since you need to purchase a certified birth certificate and you still need to get fingerprint. Okay, yeah. So it's a lot of paperwork. It's very Franz Kafka. A lot of that stuff going on. Hopefully, there's no insanity involved. I like Franz Kafka. He's one of my favorite short story authors that I've read in recent memory. Read him at first in high school and then just sort of enjoyed his work from there after I was able to get my hands on more stuff of his. So, very good. This level, not very good, because they start doing that stupid gatekeeping bullshit that they did before this. Again. But, thankfully, we have a new toy to help us with all of the gatekeeping, because, well, we've upgraded this to level 2, and it will continuously, for approximately 10 seconds, send enemies flying into midair. There we go. Which allows you to smash them over the head like this, but then it will catch them again, so you can keep going back up in the air to hit them again. So yeah, it's a very, very useful tool. It essentially just... It's almost like having the magnet spell fully upgraded in Kingdom Hearts 2 when you're fighting against small shadows, or rather small heartless or small nobodies. It completely immobilizes the vast majority of them and makes it so that they don't have any possible capacity to damage you as long as they run into the tornado. So it's pretty good. Yeah, they did smash the gate, yes. Not gatekeeping, I guess, at this point, but it will be. Eventually. This guy, Tyrion Star Rider, kind of got rid of the gate for now, but... Well, we'll see a lot of shamans in this level, and shamans are the big guys. They're the ones with the staves that like to block your breaths, and also, in addition to that, they like to put up barriers and stuff that just are not fun to deal with. There's some electric leeches, but they're natural to the area. We'll just leave them be. I don't feel like getting rid of the local wildlife. It isn't in my blood, you know. Let them be. I'll do my own thing. Okay, so that there was him gatekeeping. There's a gate behind me now, so I can't escape. So, I mean, I guess that's fine, but not like I'm planning on actually escaping, so... Additionally, if they decide to do hyper armor bullshit, the tornado will catch them as soon as the hyper armor ends, as long as they're still relatively within the vicinity of the tornado, so that's helpful. Yeah, see how much simpler this is? All you gotta do at this point is just drop it down, press the triangle button once, and you have a 10-second get-out-of-jail-free card for any enemy in the area as long as you stick around the tornado, so... Again, it's more fun to break this game's combat than it is to actually play it the vast majority of the time, so... And of course, there's also the fact that the tornado is strong enough now to where it just completely annihilates any small enemies around us. You only really got to worry about the medium enemies who can still actually live through the attacks, of which there aren't necessarily that many, so... But yeah. It's, like I said before, the Earth Breath is a shotgun. Use it like a shotgun. Use it when the enemies are really, really close. And just put them in the dirt. That's the point. Put them in the dirt. Get them all clumped up nice and close, and then just go to work. He got hit by one, even though it was practically gone at this point. At least you can hear the music again. The battle music, like I said, is... at least you can hear it. It's just that it's not well... I think they were trying to do some sort of dynamic sound thing where the atmospheric music is, like, quieter to make it sound better on, like, a surround sound system or something. But surround sound at the time this game was out was still relatively a new technology, to my understanding. So... I don't know if you want to do that. Why don't you just make the sound dynamic low, so that way anybody listening to it on a television, which is the vast majority of people, could actually hear all of the cool music that they made for the game, you know? It just seems like a sensible thing to do to me, but I don't know. Just let him out of the tornado for now. But I hope you're prepared for wave after wave after wave of enemies, because there's a lot of waves of enemies to fight in this area. It's like we're back in Dante's Freezer again, in a lot of ways. Oh yeah, the other thing about the Earth Bomb, I forgot to mention, it also causes them to spit out gems when they get hit by it. So like you'll see them dropping gems as they're flying around in the tornado. Usually health gems, but sometimes you'll get a Fury gem out of them. So it's just atrociously powerful. And it just does all the work for you, basically. Earth Breath is the best breath in this game, for a good reason. I mean, you get it last, so I guess that makes sense. But it's definitely an incredible boon to have for this level. So, better get the Doom music out. Yeah, I mean, we're practically using a shotgun from Doom right now, so... Look, it even slows down time when I use it. Speaking of slowing down time, if you're planning on playing the second game in this trilogy on the PS2, first off, my condolences. Second off, there is a bullet time function in the second game on the PS2. You don't get the bullet time function if you're playing it on the GBA, but you don't need it because it's not really all that much fun of a mechanic anyway. It's mostly used for puzzle solving, to be honest. So... Whoops. Didn't aim that correctly. It's okay, though. And the camera's fighting me, so I'll just let it go. There we go. Anybody else? Oh. Decided to take a field trip, huh? Alright, fair enough. I'll just let the Earth Breath do the work. Thank you. And now we'll go. Because they opened the gate for me. Okay, well, I was gonna uppercut you, but that's okay. Who needs tiger uppercut when you have wind uppercut? See, even the lightning's flashing in here, so photosensitivity is not very good in here. It's high, that is. So we have to defeat all of Cinder's forces that will muster inside of this gate. Again, wave after wave after wave of enemies. Thankfully, they give you a choke point with which to use your tornado, so that helps a little bit. Because, I mean, if they walk out of the gate and immediately get caught by the tornado, I don't care what kind of hyper armor bullshit they try to do. It's not gonna work. And usually at the end of the whole thing, you'll get a medium guy or a large guy that will drop out of the gate to try to stop you. But no one can stop me now. I have the power of tornadoes on my side.
Nice work, big guy. Now for the next one.
And once you defeat them, you can get a boost to the next level. So we'll use that as an opportunity to blast right through some people. It's hard to tell sometimes whether or not it gets rid of your other tornado when you put down a new one. I don't know. And that's about as complex as the combat system gets. Use a tornado, air combo, do a ground pound. And down they go. Eventually, once they stop moving. There you go. Ooh, that looks interesting. I wish it was interesting. I mean, it's a cool new enemy. It's a sentry. What it'll do is it'll have those alarm lights, and once it catches you in the sentry light, it will, well, start attacking you. But I don't know if they really do anything interesting with it, to be honest. It just kind of sits there for a little bit. I mean, I think it moves eventually, but you know, for right now, we can kind of just hang out over here and just avoid its gaze completely. Missed potential for an interesting enemy, I think. I mean, look at the thing. It's a crystal inside of an orb with lightning tendrils coming off of it. It's obviously at this fortress. It's like a native of the fortress in some way. It's like a lightning elemental, basically, but I don't know. It doesn't do a whole lot, that's all. The tagline you can basically have for this game, at least in my subjective eyes, is basically, it doesn't do a whole lot, and I'm a little disappointed by it. I mean, I'm not going to lose sleep over it at night, but I see the potential that it could have had. Now, do you guys keep spawning if I don't kill the sentry? No, this is a big guy, so... like a bigger guy, basically. Now there goes his armor. Go on, get up, big guy. Or don't. Yeah, you gotta wait out his hyper armor on his getting up frames before you can use the Earth Breath on him again to juggle him. So, conduit, that's what it's called. Got pretty good defense, apparently. And once you've defeated that one, we've raised platforms to allow us to go to the next section of the fortress. So that's cool.
And done.
Easy as that. Now, thankfully, we have the 2 best breaths in the game at this point, which will allow us to use these platforms to our advantage to drag some fools off. Just like that. I was trying to do a fancy double jump. It didn't really work. Yeah, I'll just let that do the rest of the work. There we go. But yeah, this last level's pretty easy going for a little while because the vast majority of the time, all you need to do in most battles is put a bomb down, wait for the enemies to jump into it, and then just go from there, so. More lightning elementals and more electrical leeches, so. I think we'll leave these guys alone, though. They'll get pissed at me for wandering around the hallway here. No running in the halls, but they're not stopping me from moving on, so it's just these guys that are stopping me from moving on, so I'll just go from there once we gain control again. Don't think those golems can jump up cliffs either, so that helps a little bit. Sir, leave that dynamite right alone. It's also electrical dynamite now, so that's fun. I missed my thing there. There we go. Yeah, see? Electrical dynamite. Hey man, as long as they don't get their hands on the holy hand grenade of Antioch, I think we'll be okay. Because that would not really help us at all. Yeah, electrical dynamite. It's a fancy new invention. I'd like to get my hands on some of that. Can I get up this way? I sure can. Oh, hello. Sir, you wouldn't mind walking into this tornado, would you? Sir? Oh. All right, then. This man is having a terrible day. Fell off a cliff. Small cliff, but a cliff nonetheless. Got juggled by a tornado in between the ground and this up above his head. Bad day all around for him. Alright, what do we got in here? Okay, hello. That's fine, you guys do that. I'll just... Okay, don't know where that's going, but I know where that one's going at least. It's just so ridiculous how many gems and stuff you get from them when they're just flying around in there. You use it on multiple enemies and it pretty much keeps you full on your health and your mana for a very long time. It's rather nice. Oh, I like it. Almost steamed up my tail there, door. Jesus. You going for a walk, Sparks? You might want to not play in traffic. There you go.
Heart breaking out.
While you're down there, can you rub my feet? That's what that camera angle reminds me of. I think Conker will get that reference. Maybe Nitro will get that reference. Marie would probably get that reference, but Marie's, as far as I'm aware, AFK at the moment making food. At least I hope she is. She just said she needed to eat something today. So... Sir, put down the electrical dynamite. It is not worth it. Well, maybe it's worth it for you. Damn, I got 3 juggles out of that. That took that guy's entire HP bar out. Now that's ergonomical. What you got, medium guy? I was about to say big guy, but, well, that wouldn't be right, would it? You don't need to juggle the medium guys after you basically, you don't need to juggle the small guys at all once they get hit by the tornado. Medium guys, you need to juggle once to take out their full HP bar if you hit them with it point blank. And large guys, you need to juggle both times, and it will not quite take out their whole HP bar, but it'll come close. You're too sleep deprived to remember the reference. That's okay, Conker. It was a Jack and Daxter 1 reference where you die, and one of Daxter's snarky comments that he makes when you die, because the camera angle is exactly like that, where it like pans down to how Jack is on the ground. And one of Daxter's comments, he looks over at Jack and he says, "While you're down there, can you rub my feet?"
Look, the gate's losing power.
So, okay, well, there goes that gatekeeping I was talking about. Officer, I swear I don't have any electrical dynamite on me. Why am I wearing a ski mask and a pair of gloves right outside the store? Oh, I don't know, man. It's cold out today. I need to do my due diligence, not only by social distancing, but also by maintaining my ability to keep the heat in. Something like that. Hope those guys aren't going to, like, whack me in the back of my head when I get out of this cutscene. Hello there. Goodbye there. You guys have fun down here? I'm going to get this guy first before I deal with that. Send him for a fly. No longer gate kept. Alright, Mr. Golem, I'm trying desperately not to kill you, but you're making it very difficult. Yeah, it'll even grab the largest enemies around and juggle them in the air like they're rag dolls. It's pretty ridiculous. Just like that. I feel bad for that golem. Moment of silence for our golem friend that just wouldn't quit while he was ahead. Go back. Let's see, those guys are still there. We got a few guys here, that's fine. Whoops. I'm banging my head on the geometry now. There we go. Have a nice flight. In fact, I'm just gonna watch. I'm not even gonna, like, participate here. I'm just gonna let the tornado do the work. It's cathartic, you know, just watching them fly around up there. Whoops. Well, that should help with that guy, at least. Yeah, it's already getting him. There we go. Did that guy die down there? I think he did. Alright, let's go take care of the little guys now. Oh, there's another one up there, so that's fun. I don't know if he just dropped down or what, but... I guess they're forcing me to get a little vertical here, but that's okay. I mean, I'm already getting pretty vertical in terms of, like, fighting up in the air all the time, so... Wasn't sure if the tornado was going to be enough there. So I said, ah, whatever, I'll do it myself. Big guy, a bunch of dynamite. I could... Yeah, I could definitely deal with the 1 FPS, that's for sure. Did that Dreadwing just die from me putting him in a tornado? Alright then. Oh, there goes that guy. Trying to beat this guy some different way than, you know, the usual. He might have jumped back up off screen, that's true. That's fair. Now go to your brothers, be with your brothers, Mr. Golem, and tell them of the massacre that I did today to allow you to eventually live in peace. Oh good, an elevator, my favorite. I can use electric breath again. If they drop down on me. Alright, Nitro, see you in a bit. That's never fun when you gotta go do that. Just drop you off of here. Put them in the bin. It's like putting them in the dirt, but there's no dirt on this elevator, so we just gotta improvise a little. There you go. It's all about putting on a show, Spyro. I just like how there's this pause as you're going up. If you use the electric breath like that, there's just this section where there's no enemies because they're like, wait a minute, you already beat them all? What do you mean you already beat them all? Oh boy. Okay. So, let's move right along then, shall we? Get our Earth Breath back out because there's no cliffs to use here for now. What there is here for now is a couple of conduits. Alright, I can deal with that. You can keep them separated by not walking into their searchlights, so that helps a little bit. Ow. Alright, well that works. I think there's a couple of them, though, on each side, yeah. So the game seems to have a hard time with juggling them, though, as you can plainly see from what we've got going on here. I don't know what he's doing now. Guess it don't matter now. 'Cause he's dead. Oh, look, 2 of them. I'm totally unprepared for 2. That's 2. Wait for it to go away. Shoot it again. There we go. Now we can juggle them. I'm not sure if they cause damage if they explode and you're like point blank to them. It's possible. Oh, what are you doing? He's just dancing. He's just vibing, and I'm sitting here putting on a clinic, putting him through the ringer with this tornado. Oh, there we go. A couple more over here. I could use a Fury, I suppose, but we'll save the Fury. It might come in handy for some other section upcoming. Let me just, oh, hello. Getting a little angry there, sir? Oh, okay. I don't know. I always instinctively stand back when they explode anyway, because it's like, it's an explosion, you know, like your brain just sort of goes on autopilot after a certain, after you do certain things there. Okay. Looks like we made it. Now we can move on ahead. Dark in here, a little, but, well, we got that figured out now because I lit the place up with this wind. I mean, actually it's Sparks lighting it up, so I suppose he's coming in handy somewhat.
Still don't like it.
Still doesn't matter. Ignitus needs us.
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it would be easier if she was smaller. A lot smaller.
I mean, I don't know, Sparks, it sounds an awful lot like complaining. I'm actually not even sure if you guys can hear the dialogue, because again, it's not well balanced with the rest of the game audio, so what am I doing? I can just do this. Or, alternatively, I can do something that's much more mana efficient and do this. But yeah, especially when it's like low sound balance like that, you really gotta have subtitles if you're gonna have the sound be dynamic and have, you know, the sound effects and everything be barely audible like that. So, you barely heard it? Yeah, thankfully the trend does not continue in later installments. Specifically, the version of the Eternal Night that we'll be playing, the GBA version, does not have any spoken dialogue. So that helps a little bit. But in addition to that, Dawn of the Dragon, the sound is still a little bit dynamic in some cases, but not like to such an extent that you can't hear some things, and there are subtitles for any voiced dialogue in Dawn of the Dragon, even if it's in the middle of gameplay like it is here, so... Can you tell which games in this trilogy I like better than others? I think it's pretty easy to see. Oh god. Yeah, the big guy's throwing some dynamite our way while we're dealing with his cronies. We'll get rid of them eventually, and then we can let him go his way while we go ours. Yeah, electric breath, earth breath, pretty much just use both. They both do basically what you need them to do. Don't really need fire breath or ice breath now, so we have all the damage we need, so. And you know, we probably could drop down and like actually fight all these enemies, but I think I'm just gonna go like this. And slide my way down. Don't want to take fall damage though, so that's why I'm slowly meandering my way down the thing. Oh good, they spawned more of them in. And a conduit. Okay, I can handle that. Oh, the conduit's dead. Okay, good. But yeah, if you hover around your tornado, it's usually a pretty solid strategy because of the fact that the enemies will always, except for the ones with dynamite, they will invariably run directly towards you, which means that you will always be able to kill them as long as you're hovering around your tornado. So, because they'll run towards you and they'll get caught in the suck zone, and it'll just stop them directly in their tracks. I was kind of hoping that I'd be able to actually hit you with that, but that'll work. I got nothing. I don't know what's going on with this guy. I'm just trying to jump after him. Hit him while he's on the ground, hit him while he's in the air, I don't know. Oh god, okay. Well, that one didn't explode, so that at least is good. We got another autosave point. That's something, I suppose. Okay. So now they're just being genocidal to their own guys? Like, what the... Like, that was just dumb. Why would you drop that there? Don't make no damn sense. Alright, this is a room where I think the fury is warranted. We got 2 electrical cannons, a big guy, some medium guys. Here, it makes sense. Ow. Is the electric cannon still alive? No. No, it was just... Might have been Mahi's Curse Twister doing something funky. Or the dynamite pack could have been blowing up. That's a possibility, too. Because I think there was a couple of them, so... Yeah, we should be able to meander our way through here without too many problems. Whereas the previous streams were full of me saying, why is this like this, why is this like this? This one, it's going to be pretty chill. It's just going to kind of be like, yeah, I mean... This game is pretty easy at this point. I mean, it was never really all that difficult, but it's just kind of... You don't got to worry about a lot of the bullshit that the game's combat system does when you can just throw a tornado at the enemies and completely invalidate any and all things that they can do to you. So when in doubt, tornado. There you go. That's my life advice for the day. When in doubt, tornado. Also, don't walk into the spotlights here because you will probably not like getting caught in them. So. Come along now, friends. Okay, even knocking them down out of the tornado doesn't stop them from being juggled by it, so... You almost reach like a meditative state after a while when you're using the tornado, where it's just like, you know what? There's like 70 bazillion enemies on the screen, but I'm okay with it. Because I know I just have something that is an effective catch-all for everything that can come after me at this point, so... I think if you knock the enemies into the spotlights, by the way, I think they get instantly killed, if I recall correctly. Or, well, I keep using the word killed, but as we've established previously, Spyro doesn't kill these enemies. They, quote-unquote, die, but they respawn after dropping all their gems back at base, which is most likely somewhere in Cinder's Fortress, which is probably why we have to keep fighting all these people, because they're probably respawning and jumping directly back out after us. So that's fun. Actually, I know where they're respawning, but they don't get into those plot details, and they only barely ever actually do until the second game, so... Just assume for now that they're all respawning back at Cinder's Fortress, and that should do you enough good. That should let your brain rest easy for the day. At least on the subject of the Legend of Spyro lore. Alright, what do we got? We got electric leeches, and this guy. Oh, they're sucking out my mana. Okay, well, that's fine. Sir, I don't like when you suck out my mana. Please give it back. Thank you. Oh, I went the right way. Okay. Just gotta go this way. So I guess that could be one reason why you'd want to kill the leeches, because they suck out your mana, but... Again, you get back so much mana from these gems that it's almost not necessary to even bother. Oh boy, more of these spotlights. Gonna have to check what the best method is to get through here. Looks like a bit of a minefield. Okay, well, let's just take our time and take a look at where the spotlights go, like we're playing Metal Gear or something. So probably we want to go like this. We'll just go around over here. Oh, okay. I see another light. Hang on. Okay, hang on. Let me get the heck out of there before he blows me up. I think once we kill the big guy, I think the path should clear itself up. Ow. Ow. I'm being juggled! It's okay. We're fine. Nope. Probably gotta kill all of these little guys as well. Oh, okay. So yeah, if you hear an alarm going off, like that, wow, wow, that means that either you or someone else is inside of the spotlight and you need to get the hell out, or else you get your balls rocked. So. Of course, the problem is there's a bit of bloom on everything here, so it makes it complicated to actually get away from the spotlights and tell where they are sometimes. Can I leave now? No. I've been trapped. Let's go zip-zop, zoop-a-bop through the spotlights. Yeah, I probably should. That would be the easiest way, just zip-zop, zoop-a-bop. Oh, nice little calm section here. That's okay. I can take it. A little bit of a calm before the storm. Pardon the pun. This place is a literal living storm, so yeah. Yeah, I don't know, it's just... There's just a lot of fighting, really. And not much else in this game, and it just kind of... Yeah. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It just kind of disappoints me, because I feel like there could be more to it. But, I don't know, the story's kind of uninteresting. There's some interesting bits, but overall I think the story's kind of uninteresting. The gameplay, you never really get to do anything super fancy with the combat because it's not that in-depth. The music's passable. Sometimes you can't hear it, though, because they dynamically make the sound too low for you to actually hear it. Hey, look, a boss, the Electric King. There's also cannons over there, but, well, as long as you don't stand too close to that, you don't gotta even worry about that. This guy's similar to the Ice King. He has a shield that will prevent him from getting damaged. But also, if I recall correctly, the tornado can infinitely stun lock him, if I remember right. So, now when he's in the shield, that's not the case, but... Yeah, just run away from him when he's in the shield and he'll have the crystals spawn. Okay, he's selectively choosing to not be stunned in it, but that's okay. Just when he puts the shield up, run away, grab the gems, come back. It's all fine. The shotgun breath does pretty good against him. Yeah, but you can see where he's kind of like, he's shaking his head there. That's him getting stunned by the tornado, so. I can see the crystals. Maybe I dropped him into his next phase so the crystals didn't spawn because of it. I don't know. I probably shouldn't be exchanging because, well, the combat system where it's just exchanging usually is needs a little more time in the oven, but I mean that's this whole game, so we've established that at this point. But yeah, see how he's kind of stuck now, and then he kind of popped out of it. Yeah. Okay, so now this crystals will spawn again. Ow. That's okay. Let's collect these up and we'll be good. That should not come down the stairs, yeah. I don't think they were really thinking with this boss, because like a lot of the things that he does, they can't move between stairs, you know, so... Like, it's difficult for him to do anything remotely threatening when he's being blocked by everything I do, but in addition to everything I do blocking him, the stairs also block him from doing anything reasonable, so. And the Earth Breath makes quick work out of him, just like always. Alright, well that was underwhelming. Let's hope Cinder's a little bit more interesting. She is, but only marginally. Sorry for spoiling that, but at this point, if she was a very good boss, I think we'd be more surprised by that than we are by anything else. Oh yeah, I forgot. This platform is unique because you actually can't throw down an earth bomb on top of that platform, probably because of the particle effect, so I'm not really 100% sure about that, but you know, we can fix that by sending him flying off of the platform. There we go. And now that he's off the platform, we can shotgun blast him in the face and send him flying. And now that we've defeated him, the seal on these electrical tethers, crystal shard, electrical tether, whatever things, they're keeping the elevator from moving along, basically. So you gotta break all of them, and once you do, the elevator can move up, and so we will slowly move up through the level. And break tethers along the way, and that's pretty much it for this section. Not too bad. If she was a really well-designed boss, that'd probably be the most interesting part of the game. I mean, yeah, that's fair. I think that the area that she's in is the most interesting part of the game, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself. We'll get to that pretty soon. Can't tell if that's a motorbike or kids on an ATV on the street. I don't know. If you hear any revving in the background, it's just one of those two things. Oh, hello. Hello, electric breath fondue. Well, okay. Getting a little overwhelmed, but there we go. Oh, okay. Yes, absolutely, because I'm supposed to be able to see that coming. That's some Batman Forever bullshit. Just drop from the ceiling, instantly attack as soon as you hit the ground. Uh-huh. That makes sense. Yeah, anyway. Started running in a circle because I didn't want them to, you know, lambast me again, but that's okay. We'll be fine. Let's just send you off this way. There we go. And now that you're both here, you can give me my health back. Thank you. Yeah, both of you get off of there, please. I want nothing to do with this platform because it does not let me do the things that I want to do. So I'm going to use the very element you're trying to use against me, against you, until you let me use the element I actually want to use against you. Allow me to do that. Okay. They're sliding like they have ice physics, yeah, for sure. It's just one of those things, one of those quirks. I mean, this game has a lot of quirks, as we've seen previously, but it's just the amount of distance that they slide is dependent on how powerful your electric breath is. So they're sliding that much because we have the level 2 electric breath. I don't know. It just... After a certain point, you stop questioning the madness, I don't know. At a certain point, you stop questioning, I guess. That's the whole gist there. And you just kind of roll with it. But not in the good way, like with Digital Devil Saga 2, where the story is so absolutely insane that you eventually just roll with it. It's not in that way. It's more in a way that the game has its own rules, and it just sort of plays by them without really telling you specifically what those rules are. You learn those rules by doing it, and something janky happening. And you saying, oh, that's how it actually is? Okay, well, I guess that's how it is then. Alright, next level. Run around in a circle so I don't get cheered on. Did I just make a Streets of Rage 2 reference? Seriously? Who do I think I am? Okay, well, anyway. There's a bunch of guys here, but... Well, they decided they wanted to have their fun in front of a bottomless pit, so now we're going to make them pay for it. Oh, hello. Sir, stop hyper-armoring, get off my cloud. You stop questioning the madness and enter Wonderland, yeah, pretty much. As long as they don't chop my head off at the end, I think I'll be okay with that. I think deep down there is some small part of this game that can be considered fun. It's just... It's very vapid potato chip kind of fun, you know what I mean? Where eventually you're just like, you know what? This game is dumb. And I don't think I like it, but... I mean, I know what I'm in for, so I guess I'll keep going with it. I suppose hindsight helps in that department, because it's like, well... I know what the other two games are like, and they're much better than this one, so I can kind of force myself to keep going, knowing that the best is yet to come. So, I mean, when I played this game for the first time, I'd actually never even heard of Chrome Studios before I played this game the first time, and I says, okay, well, let's give them a shot. I mean, how bad could it possibly be? It might not be great, but I'll give them a try. And, I mean, I was like, yeah, this game is pretty jank, but, I mean, I can see the potential, I guess. And then you get to the second game, and the second game, I had not played the GBA version of the second game at this point. I played the PS2 version of both the first and second game, my first time through this trilogy. And the second game was absolute dog shit on the PS2. It was just, I suppose what I can do is I can kind of tell you how the PS2 version does its stuff, because we're never going to see it. the PS2 version of the Eternal Night. So this particular game, Sierra gave Chrome Studios maybe what, like a year and $1 million to make this one, something to that effect, which is nothing again in video game development money. Well, they also gave them less time to make the sequel. They gave them like 11 months to make the Eternal Night. They gave them, as far as I'm aware, I don't know what the exact budget was, but I wouldn't imagine it would be any different. Like, I don't think they'd give them a bigger budget for the sequel, especially considering how it turned out on the PS2. And, so yeah, I mean, they had to still rehire the voice actors and everything like that, so it was not really, they didn't really have a good time with it, basically. Sir, go up in the air. There you go. Goodbye. If you won't go down from the tether, then I'll let you go down like that. And basically what Chrome Studios ended up doing is they had to design the actual game, of course. They had to design and program and do all that with a new story and everything like that, and they did all of that stuff. But in addition to that, they also had to try to fix all of the problems that came up with the original game, because this game is a janky, buggy mess. And of the bugs that they managed to fix in the second game, bug fixing isn't really it's a bit of a misnomer. In reality, they fixed the checkpoint autosave system. So now checkpoints actually work. Now, if it were the reverse where it only got worse, would you be able to keep going? I mean, you can look at the Gothic series for for your answer for that one. No, absolutely not. I would not. I'd play the first one and be like, yeah, this is pretty good. I'd play the second one and be like, this is pretty bad. I don't think I want to keep going. I'd play the third one and it would be even worse, and I'd be like, nope, sorry, done. Can't do it no more. Oh, there he is. But yeah, so they made the second game on basically the same shoestring budget they made the first game. They could fix only a select few things. And one of the things they fixed was autosaves and checkpoints. Those actually work in the PS2 version of the Eternal Night now. But that's actually worse because now everything in the entire game kills you in 3 hits, and they don't fix the stun locking that enemies can do in the second game. They also take away all of your fun tools from this game that allow you to break the combat system, like the electric tether breath and earth breath being super OP. And they give you new powers, new different kinds of electric and ice and earth and fire breath to use. I mean, fire breath is pretty much the same, but they give you new electric breath, new ice breath, new earth breath. And they give you bullet time to play with, which is like the Fury bar, except it just slow motions everything instead of killing everything on the screen. So they fixed a couple of things, but they actively made the game worse because now all of the problems that were there in the first game, but were not really that prevalent because you could work around them with all of the OP stuff that they have, is now at a head in the second game where you're forced to confront it all. And it just makes the whole second game on the PS2 not fun at all. Now, the GBA version is much better, and we'll explain why that is in a little bit, because next week we're going to be looking at the GBA version of the Eternal Night. It was not made by Chrome Studios, by the way. It was made by Amaze Entertainment. And they had a lasting impact on this trilogy, I think. We'll see why that is once we play the Eternal Night and Dawn of the Dragon, but first let's get there. We gotta rescue Ignitus to get there. And also probably deal with her.
I don't like this. Feels like she's baiting us. I'm getting smarter.
You've been through enough of this at this point, Sparks, to know that. This is a trap.
Spyro, destroy the crystal. Quickly.
You know, move like you actually can move in the normal game, unlike this, which is slow walk.
If only it were that easy, little one.
So big.
Hold your ground there, Mr. Dragonfly. Because at this point, we don't have a choice. Ain't nobody coming to our rescue now. We're gonna have to fight her.
Run! Spyro! Save yourself!
What did I just say?
This time I fight.
Bring it.
Alright, so it's time for the final battle against Cinder. Final battle. This is not the final battle, but it's going to be. something like that. So the tornado stun locks her, kind of like the Electric King, and she does a lot of damage, but I mean, if you need to get some health, you could just run around the arena and use this stuff to get it. She also takes halfway decent damage from the Earth Breath, so just use the crystals, do a little exchanging, try to stay away from her tail because it hurts like the dickens. I don't know where that tornado was going, but yeah, see how the tornado is stopping her directly in her tracks there? So. Okay, well, I don't have enough Earth Breath to actually Earth Breath her at this point, but that's okay. I can get more. There we go. You gotta get through her entire green health bar in order to finish this fight, so... And again, stay away from her. Stay away from her tail as best you can, because it hurts. Of course, if you're running towards it like that, it doesn't really work out for you. So... Alright, let's give it another shot.
Here we go.
At least she talks like a proper final boss, too. Yeah, that's true. Maybe I'll just use the breath, honestly, because it uses less mana. Ow. Okay, so I guess we could just do that. Yeah, see, this is working a little better, because I haven't even used any of the crystals yet. I guess I can do the lock-on thing, too, and kind of slide around like I'm playing Dark Souls here. See? Yeah, that works a little better. Learning new things. One of the reasons why I play these games. I always learn new things when I play these things for the stream. And this is one of them. I guess I didn't effectively use the lock-on function all that much when I played this game the first time through. Evidently. Because if I did, well... We wouldn't be in this situation now, would we? Ow. I'm getting juggled! Yeah, so you don't get enough time. If she hits you with her tail, the problem with her hitting you with her tail is that it sends you into this spiraling animation, and depending on what she does after the tail attack, sometimes it happens with her wings too, you may not have any time to dodge out of the way. Like, she'll hit you as soon as you exit the stun locking animation from getting juggled by her tail, which is just not fun at all. I suppose I could use a Fury towards the end here if it's really starting to get out of hand. Alright, speaking of getting out of hand here. There we go. Just get the hell out of there. Halfway decent boss music, too, so... Spyro, I need you to go back, brother. When I press the back button, L1 and away, you need to dodge away. Not whatever you just did there, not that. Alright, hang on. Just gonna use this because obviously the game doesn't like me finishing this, so...
So sad it must end this way.
And what do you mean by that? Ow.
Now, where was I?
Well, shit. Welcome back, Nitro. We just beat the quote-unquote final boss. There are no doors here, Sparks. You can't even...
Something in her eyes, Ignitus. Something familiar.
There should be, Spyro.
And why is that?
You and Cinder share more than you know.
Are you finally going to tell me what you've been keeping from me the whole time?
Told you the truth.
Thank you.
All of it.
Thank you, finally.
You see,
Jimmy graced it. Nice.
egg to the Silver River. I returned
I like
to
that.
the grotto to find
Made me monochrome, literally.
the other Guardians had been overrun, and all the other eggs had been smashed by the Dark Master's forces. All except one. You see, the Dark Master was torn. He wanted to destroy all the eggs to prevent the birth of the Purple Dragon. But he also needed a dragon.
For
Why
what?
do you need a dragon?
Us, Spyro. Only one born in the year of the dragon could open the portal that served as the Dark Master's prison.
That seems like a needlessly complicated loophole. Couldn't they have just made it so they could never open the portal?
From the same place. Why is she so...
Like, That seems like a better way.
Monstrous? Big? Sexy?
Please stop.
Because Spyro, after the night of the raid, she was corrupted by the Dark Master's poisonous powers, twisted by his evil law.
And aged progressively higher than you were.
Dark Master's monster.
But why? What does this Dark Master want?
He wants to be freed from the portal of convexity, to wreak havoc across the realms.
Now we're getting to the best part.
There, he just might succeed.
So where is this convexity? Oh.
I'm afraid we might be too late.
No, I refuse to give up. I'm going to stop Cinder and the Dark Master.
That would be ideal.
Wait, you heard the dragon, Spyro. He said, too late. We'll get him next time.
There is a literal hole of magic trying to suck up the world right now. There may not be a next time.
Okay, Spyro, you're right.
He probably could, Nitro. I'd rather he not, because he's supposed to be like a father figure to him, and that would kind of complicate the relationship. But, yeah. Excuse me. Well, then I guess we need to get in there so we can stop the Dark Master from coming back, if possible.
May the ancestors look after you. May they look after us all.
You know, you said that prayer last time, and it really didn't work out, so maybe this time hold your tongue. Well, not his dad. His father is unknown. He was the guardian of the clutch of dragon eggs that Spyro was born in. So, but yes, here's the best part of this whole game. This is where the game designers allowed their brains to go wild, because all of a sudden, we go from an electrical storm fortress to literal Cthulhu realm. All right. I mean, look at that fucking squid.
Now I've seen everything.
Yeah.
Hurry, I have a feeling you're going to see a whole lot more. Come on.
Well, yeah, if the portal to convexity stays open, all of these things get to fly around in the real world, so as much fun as that would be, I think we need to not have them do that, so that squid is looking thick. I don't know where he got all the meat on his bones. It's like well, I guess there's a whole bunch of stuff in here. I mean, there's eels floating around, but yeah, like, look at this place. Like, this is craziness. And again, we go from, like, your sort of generic, like, here's the fire area, here's the earth area, here's the ice area, here's the electric area, to this? Like, okay. I know where the designers put in most of the work here now. And I mean, they did a good job on the other levels, but this is, like, way better than the other stuff. Because it just feels like they definitely took some time to make this place memorable, you know what I mean? Rather than just, this is generic ice level number 6,427 in an action platformer. So. But anyway, Cinder's on the middle platform. Unfortunately, Spyro forgot that he can free fly, so we have to slowly meander our way around these platforms and glide over there. And even at some points, including using the jellyfish's platforms. Don't know how that works, but you got me on that one. This is fucking crazy land. we jumped on the train to Crazy Town, that's for sure. There are some checkpoints around here, by the way. I don't think they're signaled by, like, an autosave thing popping up, but some of these platforms, like that one we just landed on, is a checkpoint. So if you fail on the platforming section here, I believe you respawn back there. So we eventually... There's, I think, a couple of side paths, but they don't really lead anywhere. There's no enemies to fight. You just gotta basically... This whole area is just platforming and soak up the ambience, and I think that's why it's so memorable, because the level design is not complicated by the fact that you have to focus your attention on a bunch of enemies. You get all of this time. It's almost like 8 or 9 minutes of solid platforming. I mean, judging by how long it's taken me so far and how much I've talked about it. You get almost 8 or 9 minutes of solid platforming where you just kind of look at everything that's going on around here. And it's just, I don't know. It's so much more interesting than some of the other stuff we've seen. by virtue of the fact that it's just so different, you know? All the other stuff you could see in any other platformer. Here, you don't see this every day, so... Yeah, we gotta float all the way down there, so if we get a head start here and don't get hit by the squid on the way, we'll probably be okay. Or those platforms. I think those are scripted, though. I don't think they can ever actually hit you. They're just scripted to come in front of you. Let me slowly meander my way to the jellyfish. Thank you, sir. You're a gentleman and a scholar. So I believe this is another checkpoint right here. So... And these platforms with the cracks in them don't bounce up and down, unlike the other ones. So if you need solid footing, there you go. Look for one of those. Yeah, it's just so... I almost want to say peaceful here. It's weird, because it's like, this is what the Dark Master could invite on the world. Like, I mean... I don't think these things should exist in the laws of reality, because look at the environment they have to live in order to survive, but... Yeah, I don't know. It's this weird dissonance that happens with this level, where it's like... Unlike anything else in this game. It's actually one of, I think, the most well-designed sections in the series, to be honest, because... I mean, it's not that the other areas are bad, necessarily. It's just that a lot of them fall into the same old tropes of these sorts of games, where they have, like, a theme for the area. Or, at the very least, a lot of them are grounded in reality, whereas this is... this is its own type of reality. It is grounded in absolutely nothing. And, I don't know, that's just... For me, it makes it more memorable. Anyway, we made it! So now it's time for the actual final boss fight against Cinder. After we let her succeed in her evil plan.
Master returns.
Because, of course.
We're too late.
Well, maybe if I wasn't talking my head off.
Now, aren't you? This is where it really ends.
Bring it.
No mercy this time.
You were showing mercy the last time?
I can't watch this.
Yeah, me neither. So yes, now it's time to actually fight Cinder for real. So, same sort of thing as before. Just try to avoid the tail. Try to stay away from the edge of the platform because, well, if you fall off, it sure ain't gonna work for you. Ow. She's using her own fire breath now, so maybe stay away from that too. And then come back and trade with her a little bit. Okay, that's fine. She's a little bit nicer in this version. She says no mercy this time, but it's a little easier to manipulate her by just shotgunning her in the face, because for some reason her AI likes to do this weird swipe thing as a counter to you hitting her. I don't know why it happens, but the only time you really got to worry about it is when she dives at you like she did just there. The rest of it's pretty tame, at least for now. Later it'll get worse, but... Ow. Let's at least knock her into her next section. So every health bar that she drops down from, she will start flying around the arena and using her shadow fire breath to blast the whole place, except for these outer edges. So if you aren't sure where to go while she's flying around, stick to the outside edge of the platform, and that should do you good enough to actually finish the whole thing up. But don't try to damage her while she's flying. She'll just knock you around if you fly into her. Like, if she hits you with her hitbox at all, she'll just knock you away. It's not good. So, she gets more aggressive as the fight goes on, of course, but, well, it's probably for the best. Otherwise, it'd be pretty easy to just kind of manipulate her into dying quicker. And of course, you've got your generic Latin chorus final boss music in the background. I wouldn't call it generic, though. I mean, I think it's pretty interesting, so... Oh, she's flying again. Alright. I think she also starts flying if you get too far away from her, so maybe don't get too far away from her like I just did. And if you need to pick me up, there are 3 crystals littered around the arena again, so just go use those, and you'll be okay. They might not be enough to get us through the whole boss fight, but I'll show you potentially a little exploit that you can use if you need it. If we get to that point. Not sure if we're going to, but I think I'm out of Earth Breath now, so I think I gotta make a break for it. Okay. Fire Breath, wait for that to be done, come back in. Okay. Break the rest of this while I'm at it. Whoa. Almost did it to myself. She almost didn't even have to do it for me. I almost did it to myself. Okay. I don't know what she's doing, but I don't like it. Once she gets to her last health bar, she gets pissed. It's like a fire fury, basically. So now you're locked in, and you have to dodge her projectiles. But you may notice at the top of the screen there, where my breaths normally are, we have something new. Something unknown up there. We have a gigantic laser now. So just spam it. You'll notice that with every blast, you're building Fury Bar, by the way. So just spam it, dodge out of the way, and blast her. Try not to fall off, though I'm not even sure if you can, to be honest.
Now it's time to unleash the true dragon within you.
And as you can see, our Fury Bar is full. So use that Fury! So what the hell just happened now that the boss fight's over? Well, convexity is an interesting element in the Spyro, Legend of Spyro trilogy. It's probably the most interesting part about the whole trilogy, frankly. Anything that's touched by convexity becomes imbued with an incredible amount of raw power. And, well, as you can see by the Spyro heads destroying Cinder completely, Spyro's no different. He's been touched by convexity, and he has been forever changed. Whether it's for the better or for the worse, well, we'll find out later. But that takes care of her. Now, what could have made this fight more interesting is if each phase of the fight had you make use of each of the different elemental breaths. Yes, that would have been very interesting. It would have made it a lot better of a fight, I think, but yeah. Well, Dark Master doesn't have any influence over her anymore, because there goes her adult form. That portal's open, isn't it? Yeah, I know that.
I can't leave her behind. I've got to save her.
I mean,
What? Save the beast that's been trying to kill us?
if you're gonna do it, you should probably do it now, before she gets sucked into the portal. Spyro, now means now. Go. Oh, God. Well, he was touched by convexity before, but he just went directly into the portal to the Dark Master's realm.
Right behind you, bud.
That's probably not good. I hope this isn't going to become some sort of a big, huge, gigantic plot problem in the next game. I'm sure it's not important. Pay no attention to that. For now, we gotta run! Fly like you've never flown before! Okay, we made it. And we're back in the Mushroom Forest?
Mommy,
Tall Plains?
off my pillow.
She's not here, dude. We're on our own now.
Feeling better, Spyro?
I feel like I just got done with the week after shore leave.
Last bit of my strength. I can hardly lift my head.
That wasn't the line from Mass Effect 1. What was it?
Powers to return.
Like the morning after shore leave. There you go.
Young dragon. They will in time.
I hope we're not going to use that as an opportunity to take away all my powers in the next game.
Great.
Why would I even wish that on myself?
It wasn't just you, Ignitus. We all failed.
Be that as it may, we're together again now.
So we can fail together!
Well done, young dragon.
Well, I said I could fight, and I did.
Still don't know what's happened to the Dark Master.
No matter, Spyro. There will be time to talk of the Dark Master later.
For now, we all need to rest and get our power back, because we're all still drained from those damn crystals.
It's success. Hey, what about me?
Oh, here we go
Just a bunch
again.
of weird stuff doesn't fly out of my mouth doesn't mean I didn't help you now.
Yeah, you were a big help, Sparks. No doubt about it.
Please don't encourage him.
A lot of weird stuff does come out of that little mouth of yours.
What is that supposed to mean?
Okay, maybe the encouragement was worth it for that.
I could have stayed with the llama people, whatever, where I was appreciated, but no. No, I just had to help the poor, helpless dragons. Rid the world of evil. What am I?
You're gonna make me listen to Sparks for the rest of this game's waking cinematic time, aren't you?
No credit.
My goodness. And I thought Voltaire talked a lot.
Oh boy.
I left home too, you know. I'm a little guy, yeah, that's right.
I'm just gonna plug my ears until it's over.
A lot bigger to me
Okay.
than they are to you.
I just
Did I back away? Nah, nah, nah.
just let him go off.
I got moxie. I'm a tough cookie. I got class. I got a little frog in my throat.
Maybe you should have cleared that up before you did this voice line, David Spade!
Good thing when they saw it, they recognized the value of a quality dragonfly like me. But here I get nothing. Not even a thanks. Hey, how you doing? Good. Let me buy you a drink. I should go back to the swamp. Mom will make it all good. Mommy always does.
Oh my god, Sparks, shut the fuck up. And that's the game, ladies and gentlemen. Let me turn the music up because the main theme is playing here. And that's the best part of the soundtrack for me. Hopefully you can hear it. I'll turn it up a little more than usual, actually, because, again, the dynamic sound quality and balance is not so good in this game. Okay, so that's the start, the end of the start of the Legend of Spyro trilogy, if that makes sense. Let's look at the good first. How about that? Okay, so you're looking at the good right now on the screen, the voice talent for the game. You have incredible voice actors. You have Phil Lamar, Cree Summer, Vanessa Marshall, Jeff Bennett, Kevin Michael Richardson, Gary Oldman. You have David Spade, although his voice direction, again, I think was a little off the wall. You have Elijah Wood. And they all, I think, do a really solid job of conveying the types of characters that they want you to have that they want to change the way that Spyro was in this game. Because, like, before this, Spyro was a little bit like he had a bit of a bite to him, an edge. He was a little sarcastic, kind of like a lot of the 90s with attitude, action heroes and platformer mascots, all that sort of stuff. Here, he's literally Elijah Wood in Lord of the Rings. He's a fish out of water. He's in over his head a lot of the times, but he's not willing to give up. He wants to fight for the world that he thinks is worth saving, and he ends up saving everybody. So, I mean, who better to get for a role like that than Elijah Wood while he's in the prime of his time doing the Lord of the Rings movies as Frodo? That was a really good casting call there. Again, though, I think that the problem when you cast such high-profile voice actors is that you end up with them being a bit... It's hard to talk to them if you're starstruck by them, you know what I mean? You get someone like Gary Oldman in the studio, and, I mean, he did a really solid job as Ignitus, I think. There were very few times, I think, where he sort of flubbed any of the lines that he did. But if you're starstruck by these people that you hired to be your voice actors, how do you tell them in the booth, yeah, that was not so good, let's do it again, and this time I want you to emphasize this word, or emphasize this word. And it shows the most with David Spade. Again, I've seen his work in other animated stuff. I've seen The Emperor's New Groove, damn it. I know he's more than capable of voicing satisfactorily in these things. But the problem, of course, I think, is that they didn't give him good enough voice direction, and they just wrote Sparks like such a dick for no reason whatsoever. Again, they were trying to make him snarky and biting and sarcastic like Spyro was in the 90s, but they just didn't know how, I don't think. So, it leaves a bit of a stain on the whole thing, honestly. The other good, we're listening to it right now. I think the soundtrack is pretty solid. The sound designers and the people who were composing for this game were Rebecca Newell and Gabriel Mann. And as far as I'm aware, this was their first outing composing for a whole game. I think they had done some subcontracting for like select sounds for games before this, but not for a full soundtrack. And I think they did a pretty good job. I mean, the atmospheric tracks sound good for the areas that they're in. The battle tracks are over the top, but I guess they're also fairly satisfactory. Nothing really sticks out to me as bad in the soundtrack. It just, in some cases, I think it sounds kind of bland. And that's where the second major influence on this game, I think, really takes shape, is in the soundtrack, and especially in the battle tracks. This game came out in 2006. What is it about games with 2006? Why are they always, like, garbage in most cases. Like 80% of games that I've played that came out in 2006 are just like awful in a lot of cases. Neither here nor there. This game came out, and it's in 2006, and it was developed on the heels of God of War 1 coming out. God of War 1 came out in 2005, around when Sierra approached Chrome and said, hey, we want you guys to design a Spyro game. A Spyro trilogy, even. And we want you to make it a beat-em-up, so that we can cash in on that sweet, sweet God of War money that Sony is bathing in right now, because God of War was the next big thing for Sony at the time. And, okay, the good soundtrack is gone. Let's turn it back down so I can actually talk. The satisfactory soundtrack is back. So, I think what they said with that was they said to the composers, yeah, make it sound like God of War, because that's what they want. And to be fair, I think they did a decent job of emulating the God of War sound, but it just comes off like a poser in some cases, you know what I mean? And it doesn't come off as its own thing. Where I think the soundtrack shines the most is in situations like with the main theme, where it gives you this sort of adventurous, almost nostalgic feeling to it. And it's good in those moments, but it just sort of ends up being pretty bland and forgettable in the moments where it tries to rip off God of War, I think. So, yeah, those are the trouble, of course, is that the good in this game is kind of off-put by the caveats of the good. We'll talk about the bad in a minute. First, let's see what Spyro's got going on here.
See anything, Spyro?
No. But I've got a bad feeling.
Me too.
Well, I mean, the Dark Master's portal did get opened. Let's hope that's not an ominous foretelling of the things to come. Welcome back, Marie. Yeah, you got here just in time for the credits to finish up. We got an extras menu. Oh, God. Elijah Wood interview. Oh, no. Oh, this is going to be great. We'll look at that in a second when I'm done with my critique. You made chicken, some buffalo sauce, and lemonade. Nice. That sounds pretty good. Nice little snack to have while we're chatting about the game's good and the game's bad. So yeah, that's the good, I think, is in the voice acting with a caveat. There's good in the soundtrack with a caveat. The bad is in basically everything else. The gameplay for a beat-em-up is incredibly shallow. There's very little, like, customization. There's very little skill involved in it. It has a low skill ceiling. It's easy to learn and easy to master. The enemies can stun lock you, so there's no iframes allowing you to kind of get out of bad situations. Sometimes you just get completely cucked, like in that first fight with Cinder where she would use the tail swipe and then I'd get completely cucked a couple of times. Yeah, it's just such a shallow combat system, I think. I think that the powers, the breaths themselves are where that's got the most interesting thought process behind them. It's just that, again, when your combat system is best implemented in terms of how the player can break it, that's not a well-balanced combat system. It just, you have fun with it, but you have fun with it for the wrong reason. It's not fun because you used all of the skills that you've learned across the game to overcome a great challenge. You've used the little skills that you needed to in order to break the game to overcome those challenges instead, so. Then, I don't know what else, try to detangle the rat's nest on your head. Oh boy, need to hang those two posters and do your exercise for today. So you got a bit of a busy schedule ahead of you. So yeah, there's that. I'm not really a big fan of the story. I like some of the atmospheric stuff that they set up for the game, and I like where they go with the story as the game goes on. I think it's passable, if not good in some situations. I'd even call it very good by the time you get to Dawn of the Dragon. But it's a slow burn. It takes a while for it to get good, and on its own, in an isolation, I don't think that this game just has the chops to tell the kind of story that they want to tell, because obviously they're trying to tell some sort of coming-of-age tale with this character that's recognizable and iconic, but spun in a new way. And, I mean, I think they do okay with Spyro in this game, but everybody else kind of, I think it's the short end of the stick. They either don't get enough lines to really get any more than a one-note personality. I mean, Cinder, the main antagonist of the game, gets like 3 lines of dialogue. Now, granted, it's because she's this big, ominous threat most of the time, but, like, you don't get to know who she is, really. It just feels so impersonal in a lot of cases. I don't know. It just feels like they didn't really have the ability to write the kind of complicated story that they wanted to with this one. And again, it's a slow burn. The story gets better as the games go on when they can actually start writing the things they want to write, but... Well, I'll give you a little bit of a spoiler alert here. Chrome Studios developed the second game on the PS2. They did not develop the GBA version of the second game, which is the one we're going to be playing, and they did not develop Dawn of the Dragon. They started development for Dawn of the Dragon, but they actually had to hand off development of Dawn of the Dragon to another studio because they were so afraid that the games would end on a low note because of how poorly they did in A New Beginning and The Eternal Night on the PS2, that they had to hand it to another developer to finish it in a way that they thought would be satisfactory. It's a really sad tale, too, because I don't think Chrome Studios is a bad developer. I just think they got a really, really raw deal when it came to this. Because at the time that this game came out, Sierra in 2006, I think I said it before, was like the EA or Activision of today. Sierra would just buy up like huge heaps of IPs and just throw shit at a wall. It doesn't matter what IP it is, it doesn't matter what genre it is, just make shovelware and hope it sticks because we'll recoup the losses we're making on these things eventually. And they didn't, because eventually Activision bought them and they became Activision Blizzard. And now you know why Activision Blizzard is evil, because they had dumbass companies like Sierra as a part of their building blocks. Yeah, I don't know. It's just the music is good with caveats. The voice acting is good with caveats. The story is, I don't think it's good enough to really warrant it. Again, this is all in isolation, right? We're not trying to compare this to the original trilogy, but in isolation, I don't think the story does well enough as a setting up for a coming of age tale. What else? And the gameplay is incredibly bland and shallow. So, all in all, I'm glad this is over with, I think. It's, because this is the worst part of this whole thing. This is the baseline with which we have to judge the rest of the trilogy on. Thankfully, it's all uphill from here. It's only going to get better with the next game and the game after that, because after this game, Chrome Studios went back to the drawing board and said, we got to make this better. And then Sierra said, you don't have time to make this better. You have 11 months to get the Eternal Night out. Get busy. But Amaze Entertainment, who made the GBA port of the Eternal Night, said, 11 months for a mobile game, a game on a mobile platform? We can handle it. As we'll see soon enough. Let me read chat, and then we'll listen to Elijah Wood talking about this game, and I know what he says, and it's heartbreaking knowing what we just played, listening to him talk, but I'll let you be the judge of that when he talks, so hold on. Kill me. Might actually clean your bathroom. I mean, you're adding to your list, but try to get as much of it done as you can, but try not to add to your list too much, because I just find when I add to my list like that, you just end up not getting everything done I wanted to, you know? Cinder's cool, will also kill you if you so much as glance in her direction. Yeah, evil Cinder would. Definitely kill you if you glanced in her direction. As long as some of the GBA games you've beaten, which is bad since handhelds tend to be kind of short. Yes, that is an actual critique, I think, a well-structured critique of the GBA version of the Eternal Night, is that it's pretty short. Unless you're talking about this game, in which case, yes, it's also pretty short. The Eternal Night on GBA is about 6 hours long, so we'll probably get a full week's worth of streams out of that one as well. Thankfully, the time that we spend with it will be much better than this. So, you're talking about this one. Okay, gotcha. But yeah, just trust me when I tell you, if you're not a fan so far of this one, stick it out. Because the Eternal Night is better, and I would even call Dawn of the Dragon a contemporary with the games that came out at its time. It came out in 2008 or 2009, I believe. And I think it's a beat-em-up that's worthy of the time period. It's fairly well done and well structured, as we'll see. But first, let me take a drink, and then we'll listen to Elijah Wood talk about this game. Alright, Elijah, lay it on me. Let's hear what you have to say about The Legend of Spyro: A New Beginning. Might turn it up a little bit, so you can hear him.
I think what's really great about this game and what I'm excited about in regards to this game is that it's sort of telling the story of Spyro from the beginning. He's actually a small purple dragon that is raised by dragonflies. He doesn't realize he's a dragon. And within the story, as the story progresses, he learns of his true self, where he comes from. You know, that there are these elders, these kind of guardian giant dragons, and that he's one of this ilk. And throughout the game, he starts to learn more about what he's capable of as well.
Can you see why he was so interested in the role?
Is something special. The powers that come along with that. And what's really cool as a player, I think, is that you get to learn these different attributes.
Yeah, looking at him being this young, it does. It makes you feel old, doesn't it?
Fire, which is kind of typical to dragons, or breathing ice, or electricity, and these things just kind of come throughout the game. And it's a really, really interesting story-based game that I think is quite immersive, which is cool.
Oh, Elijah, I don't know if you can make that claim. I know when this interview happened, and,
What could it be? It's tough. They're all pretty good. But the old standby, the ability to fly, you know, that's a big deal. Breathing fire, okay, that could be, I mean, I could really run into some trouble with that. You know, can you lessen the amount of fire that you're breathing? What if you only intend to, like, I don't know, light a candle, for instance, but then you light up your couch?
See, the funny thing is, he talks about this stuff, and I'm like, when I was his age, which I'm a little older than him at this point in this interview, I thought exactly the same thing. It's that with great power comes great responsibility thing. So it's just funny because we think on the same wavelength, and that's why I find this interview so interesting to watch after just playing what we
But then I
played.
could see that being extremely dangerous as well. I mean, all of these things I think you'd have to learn how to regulate, because you could freeze yourself, you could, I don't know, I think there's a lot of, flying's the safest. I'll go with flying.
Yeah, sure, that's the safest. Oh
Entering
boy.
into a world that he's unfamiliar with and taking aboard something that is kind of quite massive. It's not dissimilar from a journey that I'd taken before.
Oh, here we go.
Who's embarking on something that is sort of bigger than they could conceive of, or bigger than them.
And in a world after Lord of the Rings, we all know what that was. Now there's the kicker right there, though.
Voice of Ignitus, which blows my mind. I mean, he's one of my favorite actors of all time. A true chameleon, someone that you can't really peg, has done every kind of voice, character imaginable.
I mean that my time for heroics is past, but with your help, we might be able to beat Cinder.
I can't, Ignitus. I just learned what I am.
You can, Spyro. You can. You are a purple dragon, a very special creature.
It's a pleasure to be associated with him, because I'm such a huge fan. And David Spade as Sparks as well. I've met David a couple of times, and he's a really sweet guy and really, really funny. And for this kind of character, it's so important to have someone that's sort of biting and sarcastic and funny.
But it's also important to give them the correct direction so that he doesn't come across the dick.
Spyro, can you hear me? You okay, buddy? Listen,
Ice
forget
wouldn't be
about those
dangerous. Blasphemy.
jokes I made about your fatness and your being purple and stupid and fat.
I'm very much, as a gamer, I'm very much attracted to a game that includes a great story that I can sink my teeth into, that will allow me to kind of continue to focus on the progress of the game and lead to other games. You know, my favorite games are story-based games. And if the story's good and the actual gameplay is fun, then yeah, that's all you need, really.
Oh. See, it hurts me, right? It hurts me to hear him talk about this because you unlock this for beating the game. This is your quote-unquote 100% reward for beating the game. And it hurts me. It hurts me to hear him talk like this because, okay, so that was the first day of shooting for the voice acting for Spyro that Elijah Wood was doing. They brought him in and they said, hey, we want to do this cool interview that we're going to include in the game, and we want to hear you talk about what your expectations are for the game, and you know we'll ask a couple of fun questions. We'll talk about the other voice actors that you now know about, and we just think it would be interesting to have you talk about this game that we're excited to start developing. And hearing him talk so highly of this game, saying it's got such a great story that he thinks is going to happen to it. He's read over some of the lines, and he can see the complexity that he thinks they're building, and it's got fun gameplay where it's got interesting elements that you can use. At the time, he didn't mention Earth because I'm not sure if it was even in the game at that point, but and just hearing him talk about it like that, he talks so highly about it, right? He's excited to be a part of this project, and I think that's why it's so disappointing to see what the final product is, because not only do you have a game that doesn't really do a whole lot of good for itself, and the good that it does comes with a significant amount of caveats, you also feel like you've let down the people that have worked so hard on this project. I mean, if the developers at Chrome felt the same way that Elijah Wood did, where they were excited and had great thoughts going forward about the prospects of this game, and then they were told that they had barely any time to develop it, and they wouldn't have enough time to implement all these cool ideas that they had, and they only had just enough time to get the game pieced together in a beta state, in a tech demo-like state, before shipping it out the door to customers that will have this exact conversation when they're done with it. It's got to be soul-shattering, man. And I feel the pain of the developers that were involved in this project, because it wasn't just their fault. It was a perfect storm that worked completely against them. And seeing the final product, it just hurts, really. It hurts to see what happened to this game, and to see that they would... I don't want to say they treated it with disrespect, because I don't think they did. I think they had solid ideas. I just think that they never really got to implement them in the way that they wanted to, at Chrome Studios specifically, because other developers had to step in and do the hard work for them, because Sierra kept giving them such a raw deal. And yeah, it just hurts, really. That's this game, honestly, is that the potential is there, but it just hurts to look at in a lot of ways, because you can see where it could have been great, even. And it just never happens. So on that depressing note, we're finished with The Legend of Spyro: A New Beginning, the Stream Edition. It is shattering. It hurts you, but not like the DDS duology. This game is just kind of tapioca that's starting to age. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It never reaches the potential that I think it could have. With 6 or 12 more months of development, I think it could have been much better than it actually is now. Maybe not great, but at the very least it could have had a lot of the problems could have been resolved. And just seeing it in this state, it hurts me. But you're correct about that, Marie. We're at the bottom, nowhere to go but up. And we will start our uphill climb to the better games in this trilogy on the next episode of The Legend of Spyro Trilogy, the Stream Edition, which will be starting next week, probably on Monday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, where we'll begin our coverage of the second game in the series, The Legend of Spyro, The Eternal Night. And again, we're playing the GBA version of The Eternal Night, because it is of my opinion that is the best version of The Eternal Night. So if you're planning on playing along, I hope you have a copy of the GBA version to go with it. I mean, you could emulate it, I guess, which is what I'm doing, but don't tell anybody that. Anyway, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you for watching, everybody. I appreciate you coming out to Twitch and YouTube to check out the stream. And I will see all of you on the next one, which, as I said, will be early next week at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, probably on Monday, where we'll start the second game. So until I see you there, or wherever I see you next, I hope that you'll take care, and have a good one. At least they didn't dig even further down in the next game. Oh, they did, Conker. Chrome Studios dug a hole in the next game, but thankfully, I'm going to avoid showing that fate. We're going to move to a different developer with the GBA version, and that will make this experience much more pleasant. Just trust me. I just want this game to be a pleasant experience, so I'm going to do my damnedest to let Spyro be given the treatment that I think they wanted to give him. But we'll get to that next week. For now, see ya!